Hi, it's Zuri. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about being gluten-free and how it's changed my life. I just made a separate video about starting a weight loss journey and just detailing my issues with weight in general throughout my life. This video, I just wanted to talk about being gluten-free because I went gluten-free. How many years has it been now? 7 years ago. Time flies. And I want to talk about it and how much it changed my life because I would really like to inspire people that might be suffering from the same things that I was suffering from to go gluten-free and see the change in their lives. I didn't really elaborate on it in my other video because it doesn't have to do with weight loss. When I went gluten-free, I actually started gaining more weight because I was eating more food to overcompensate for the food that I wasn't getting. When I first went gluten-free, I was living in a smaller town, and they didn't have a huge selection of things. There wasn't like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and all these different stores. And it wasn't as popular back then as it is becoming now. And it was hard to get things like bread and stuff like that. So I would make my own breads and foods and stuff. And if I did go out to eat and I had fries, I would order extra fries just to overcompensate for the bread that I was missing. And so I actually started to gain a ton of weight when I first went gluten-free from that. And a lot of gluten-free foods they have more fat in them sometimes because they use more eggs and things like that to help bind the foods together. And eggs, as we know, have more fat in it than just plain wheat flour. So I did start to gain weight in the beginning for that reason. But the positive things about it, how it changed my life is I struggled with back pain my entire life. And it got to the point where I used to have like pillows propped up on my bed. I wanted one of those beds that I forgot what they're like, orthopedic bed. I can't think of the name of it, but they like when I'm in front of camera, my brain always just goes blank. I always have brain freeze. I hate when people say brain fart. That's just so weird. I say brain freeze. I hate when I wanted a bed that goes like up, like an incline type of bed. I thought I needed that. I thought my bed was making my back hurt. I just thought maybe it wasn't good enough. I don't know. Even though it was a new bed, I just thought it was everything else. I never thought that it had anything to do with my diet. I thought it was my job. I did have a job that required a lot of lifting and strenuous activity. My back was just so horrible. I can't even describe to you how much pain I was in. It was horrible. I was convinced that I would need surgery at some point. I really felt that way. What made me decide to change was I was watching Dr. Oz, which I love watching Dr. Oz. He has shout out to Dr. Oz. He has a lot of interesting shows. And he had this doctor on. I think he was a neurologist on there, and he was talking about he had a book called Grain Brain, and he was just talking about how gluten has an effect on certain people, and just talking about the symptoms of people that might have a sensitivity to it. And a lot of the things that he was saying was things that I was dealing with, like having ADHD and having the back pain and fatigue and just feeling bloated and having anemia. All those things were things that I dealt with. So I was just like, I am going to buy this book and just see what it's about because I like reading anyway. I got his book. I read it and I was convinced that it was going to help me. So I did this diet. I went a few days without eating gluten. And I think within 3 days, I'm not even kidding you. Within 3 days, my back pain was completely gone like that. Like, it was gone. It was like a miracle that happened to me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, all this time, all of my life. There was things I wanted to do in my life. And the back pain stopped me from doing it. I wanted to be a cook, but I couldn't imagine standing all day because the pain got so bad where I couldn't have a job where I was standing all day. I could stand for a little while, but I would have to sit. And when you're a cook, you don't have that option. Or a chef. That's why I want to be a chef. You don't have that option. You have to be on your feet all day for hours and hours and hours. So, after a while, I was like, you know, you just start to think maybe this is like a hoax or something. You know what I mean? You just think, okay, maybe this isn't real. So I went back to eating pizza. I'm from Chicago. I love pizza to death. I'm obsessed with pizza. Let me tell you, I love it. And I do miss it because I haven't had real pizza in a long time. I have to eat gluten-free pizza from now on, and it's not the same. I missed pizza. I missed eating that stuff after a while of being gluten-free. So I started back eating it again. Lo and behold, symptoms came back. The back pain came back, the joint pain. I had a lot of pain in my traps, like right here. I would get diarrhea a lot. I know, disgusting, but that was just the truth. I would get that, and so I decided to do it, go back to gluten-free because I felt better. I did that again. It felt good. I felt good again. And from that point on, I decided I was just going to have to stick with this because I didn't want to be in pain anymore. And I was afraid of what might happen to me in the long run from continuing to eat it. I didn't want something worse to happen, you know, which I felt like what he did insinuate in a book that I read that it could lead to something, you know, worse happening to you. Because he was saying that it caused like leaky gut syndrome, and which is why I felt a lot of the back pain. I think your intestines pretty much start to leak. Your bowels become perforated from eating the gluten. It starts to leak into your body. I know it's disgusting, right? But yeah, I don't know how to put it to you. But yeah, you know, I worked in the medical field for a while, so I'm not as grossed out by things as other people are. So forgive me if I just like freely talk about this stuff. Like, you know. So anyway, I went back to it. I felt good again. Since then, I have gone back a few times and ate gluten just because I'll miss things, you know. It is, sometimes you do miss stuff, especially pizza. Some gluten-free things, you know, are good replacements. You know, you get used to it. You get used to the breads and things like that. But pizza, I haven't found a good pizza yet. So I did go back and have pizza a few times, and then the pain would come back again. And there's sometimes I ate it by accident, and it always doesn't make me feel like pain. So it just depends on what the thing is, I guess. And one of the hardest parts of being gluten-free is like people are like prejudiced towards gluten-free, which is really crazy to me. Like I worked in a food industry, so you would hear people just talk all kinds of stuff about people with gluten intolerance, how it's fake and this and that, and they would just be like, oh, it's a yuppie thing or this white people thing or something. I'm like, dude, I am not a yuppie. You know, I'm the opposite of that. You know, I'm kind of a hippie, and I'm black, and I'm not rich. You know, I don't have money to just go around being gluten-free just for fun, just because it's a fad. You know, which is what a lot of people would say. They're like, oh, it's just, you know, they're just doing it because it's the cool thing. It's like vegan and cool, you know, whatever. Which there are some people that do veganism. I've seen that just because they think it's cool. And I've seen those same people eat meat, like on the down low, which is crazy, right? Yeah. This girl I worked with, she was like saying that she didn't say she was a vegan, but she said she was like pescatarian. And I saw her eating beef one day. And I'm like, dude, that's not fish. Just saying. Anyway, people think that it's a fad, you know. It's crazy because I'm already getting discriminated against because of my race and my sex in this food industry. And now I'm being discriminated against for my diet. I never in a million years thought that people would discriminate against a diet. I don't even know why people care. Just like Jay-Z says, and I forgot what song it is, but he said, what you eat don't make me shit. Like, why do people care about what other people eat? Like, I'm not going around preaching to you. I'm not trying to get you to become gluten-free. You know, I'll tell people sometimes when I see them have pains, I'll suggest to them that they might want to try it. But I don't tell people, like, do this, do this. So anyway, but I just want to say it changed my life after that. I was finally able to become a cook. I didn't go through being a chef because I realized after time that that isn't what I want to do with my life. And so, which I explained in my other video, while I was unemployed, I did decide to go back to college, which is what I'm doing right now to fulfill other dreams that I have. But, you know, I just want to say that if you are struggling, you have a lot of back pain, especially, and pain in your joints, your traps, headaches, You always have diarrhea all the time, stomach cramps. I had a lot of stomach cramps before. I used to have like pain in my brain too. I would feel like, it's hard to describe it. I would just feel pain in my head. Just, I don't know. It's hard to just say what kind of, because it wasn't like a headache. It was like just a sharp pain would come every now and then. That doesn't happen anymore. I used to have really bad acid reflux. I still have it now because I've gained weight, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. I used to have to take medication for it. So it has changed my life. If you are interested in the book, it's called Grain Brain, and I think his name is David Perlmutter, the writer of the book. And I would recommend getting the book and reading it. It changed my life. It helped my life to improve. Like I said, I can sleep now. I don't wake up with my body hurting. My back doesn't hurt. And the sad thing is my brother just had to have back surgery recently, and I was just trying to tell him about it, but a lot of people don't listen to you when you try to tell them about this because they just don't believe it. It sounds too simple, you know, like really just change how I eat and that's going to stop. Yes, for me, it really did. I was in serious pain. I can't even just describe to you how hurt I was, like how much my body, I felt like I was a lot older. I was only like 30 years old, and I felt like I was 80 years old at the time. I felt just stiff and horrible. And I feel better now than I did when I was 30. And I get up now with no pain, no problems, nothing. You know, the only time I hurt a lot is if I eat things that I know have traces of gluten in it. If I eat like fries or something that have been cooked in oil with it, or if I eat a lot of sugar, which is another thing that causes inflammation. I will start having pains and stuff from that. But, you know, yeah, so I just hope that this video will help someone. If you have any questions to ask me, or if you yourself have experienced the same thing as me, feel free to talk about it, share your story, and inspire some people just like I'm trying to do. So thanks for watching.